Celtic finally get their first point on the board in the Champions League this season, but truth be told, it probably should have been all 3 points. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football, here to review Celtic 2, Atletico Madrid 2 in the Champions League at Celtic Park. An interesting game of football, no doubt about it. Very entertaining, especially the first half performance from Celtic. They, at times, were great in that first half, and they looked just as good. In this case, they were better tonight. They were the better side. They looked like they could match Atletico Madrid, who are one of the best teams, not just in Spain, but also in Europe, in the world. And for Celtic to go toe-to-toe with Atletico Madrid, I wasn't really expecting this performance tonight, but it was a fantastic performance. But it was the first half. Second half, not so much. Celtic backed off, and did they try and protect a lead? Possibly. They did get a bit more defensive. They got pinned back at second half, and they just didn't have that same sort of energy and attacking movement and pressing that they had in the first half. And they still did okay second half. They weren't by any means dominated. They weren't blown away, but they didn't keep up the same levels that they had in the first half. And if they did, then I've no doubt they would have won this game, because I think they were the better team tonight. Did they deserve to win? Probably. You know, I said they were the better team against Lazio, but I don't think they've done enough against Lazio to say they deserved to win the game. But I think tonight you can argue they did deserve to win the game, because I'm not convinced about the penalty. I don't think it's a penalty. And when things like that are given as penalties, then pretty much every time somebody goes in the box, you could claim a penalty. I mean, there's no foul, there's no tackle. It's just two bits of fucking body, limbs coming together. You know, there's not a tackle there. There's no intent for him to win the ball. He's running alongside him. Greg Taylor's running alongside his man. For me, that's not a penalty. And I don't want people to bring up old shite in the past, or what about this incident, what about that incident? Look, I call it how I see it. I don't think that's a penalty. There's not even a tackle to be made. And you could say that, well, he's clipped him or this and that, but it's like in Formula 1, sometimes two cars collide, and it's called a racing incident. They don't penalise one driver unless they truly believe he's at fault. And I think I think that should happen in football. I think we just need to accept that sometimes players are going to come together in the box, outside the box. It is a contact sport after fucking all. So if I was ref, I don't think that's a penalty, man. It's not. It's not a tackle. He's not intentionally, clipped him or ran into him or hit his leg off his leg. He's not done that. He's simply running alongside the defender. He's keeping his man. The defender's trying to keep up with the attacker, and they've just came together on the ref. I think it's soft, very soft. I mean, John Hartson said, not that John Hartson knows anything, because he does talk a lot of shite, but John Hartson said it was soft, and then the more he's seen replays, he kind of changed his mind and says, nah, he's going to give a penalty. I mean, the more I seen the replays, the more I thought, fuck it, no, that is soft, but I mean, whatever. Referee gave it. Opening goal. Good stuff for Celtic. O'Reilly, probably been their best player this season, I think that is fair to say. And Kyogo, the guy that couldn't score in the Champions League last season, looks like a guy that can score this season. He got a goal against Lazio. Tonight he got a goal against Atletico Madrid, so that's 2-2 for Kyogo. And he's doing it in the big boy competition now, because we know he can do it domestically, we know he can do it in Scotland, but there's always been that question mark over Kyogo. Can he match what he does in Scotland? Can he do it in Europe? Can he perform against the big teams? And he's done that. He scored 2 goals in 2 games against Lazio and Atletico, so I think we need to give Kyogo some credit. The guy has shown that he is a force to be reckoned with, not just domestically, but also in European competition. So good early goal for Celtic, and they think they deserved it up to the point where Atletico Madrid got the penalty. They were playing really good football. Anytime Atletico Madrid got the ball, Celtic were pressing them deep, winning back possession. I mean, Celtic were... The energy levels from Celtic was fantastic, and I know you can't probably keep that up for the whole 90 minutes, but the way they started this game, it did only look like one winner. But we got the penalty. I don't think it was a penalty. Joe Hart managed to get, I think he got a slight touch on it. He knocked onto the post, and then Griezmann followed it up. So could Joe Hart have done better? I mean, he did save the penalty, so I don't exactly want to... I don't want to bury the guy too much. He did save the penalty, but also I mean, if you're going to do what he did, then what's the fucking point of saving it? I think he needs to do a bit better. I mean, at the end of the day, we can say he saved the penalty, but he guessed the right way. That's what he did. He guessed the right way, and then he basically just parried the ball off the post into the oncoming Griezmann. Look, it's unlucky. It's unlucky. I'm not going to say that Joe Hart was shit here, because he wasn't, but could he have done a better job? I think a better goalkeeper. If a better goalkeeper dives the right way, I think he saves this. I think he puts this out for maybe not even for a corner or a throw-in, but I think he at least parries it away from the incoming penalty kick taker. So maybe Joe Hart could have done better there. But Celtic, they weren't level for long. This time Luis Palma, Maida crosses it, ball falls to Palma. No one's really closing him down. He takes a shot. I think it takes a slight deflection after the Atletico Madrid player, and it goes in off the post. And a bit lucky with this goal, I guess, but still a good strike for Palma. I mean, it was on target. Would the original shot been enough to beat the goalkeeper? We don't know. But Palma did hit a decent shot here, but I think it was aided by the slight deflection on the Atletico defender. This goes in. It's 2-1. Celtic ended the second half the better side. Celtic looked to be not in control, because it was only 2-1 and you're playing against a top-class opposition here, so you've never got anything secured. But they looked good, and they did look like they could get a win. I genuinely thought that. However, second half, Atletico Madrid, they get the equaliser, Morata with a header, and at 2-2, Celtic did deflate, and I just felt from this point onwards, they were never going to win this game, and I thought it was more likely Celtic would go on and lose the game at this point rather than win it. And I think it's just because we've seen in previous attempts where Celtic have just fallen, haven't they? They've just fallen apart really, and maybe not got the result they deserved. And up till this point, they 100% deserved to be in front. But when Atletico pulled them back to 2-2, I think everybody was thinking the same thing. Here we go again. Like CJ from GTA San Andreas. Oh shit, here we go again. We all expect that Atletico probably to get a third goal. Didn't happen. What Atletico did get though was a sending off. DePaul with a second yellow card. He got sent off down to 10 men, and this seemed to give Celtic an extra lifeline. At this point, they did come forward a bit more. They did try and create chances. James Forrest had a shot over the bar. We had an incident where Scales gave away a foul, and John Hartson was convinced it was the other way about. He thinks that Scales and Celtic should have had a penalty. I mean, Celtic did have the ball a lot in the final third. They did put pressure on Atletico Madrid, but they didn't really create anything clear-cut. They had a couple of corners, but nothing. They never really got close. James Forrest was the closest they got to getting them that 3-2 lead, and in the end, it was 2-2. So they weren't as good, obviously, in the second half as they were the first half, but I still think overall they were the better team tonight. Did they do enough to win it? I think the first half, they probably could have been more than a goal ahead. Second half, up until Atletico Madrid got a man sent off, I think Celtic were the inferior side, so I don't know. Plus, they had a man advantage with 10 minutes to go. You can argue a draw is a fair result, but Atletico certainly didn't deserve to win tonight, and they didn't. So Celtic got a point. It is what it is. Probably should have got all three, but they didn't. They got a point. Now, realistically, they're going to have to follow this result up with another positive result, and with Feyenoord winning, the likelihood is that Celtic will probably need to beat, if you want to be realistic here, they probably need to beat Atletico Madrid in Spain now. Certainly if they want to go through in the Champions League. If they want to be in the top two, they definitely have to beat Atletico in Spain. Even if they want to try and sneak third, though, I still think they're going to need a result, whether it be a win or a draw. I think they need to get something in Spain, because they will be looking at catching Feyenoord, and Feyenoord picking up 3 points tonight was not what Celtic needed. So yeah, it's going to be tough from this point onwards, no doubt about it, but I think Celtic have showed over the last two games, look, they were really bad against Feyenoord, but I think they've shown over the last two games that maybe they can do something here, maybe they can pick up a win or two in this Champions League group, and even if they do finish fourth, they're not going to be the whipping boys, they're not going to pick up 6 L's, they've already proved tonight that they will get something on the board, and I think the performance tonight showed that, there is a win in this team, definitely. And this was against the best team in the group. So I think when they do take on Lazio again, even though it will be in Italy, and when they do take on Feyenoord, that will be at Celtic Park. I think that's obviously their best chance at getting a win. However, the only problem for Celtic is there is a very likelihood that when they get to that game against Feyenoord, that they're already going to be eliminated from European competition. I think that's what will happen. Just looking at the group, you've got Feyenoord on 6, Atletico Madrid on 5, Lazio on 4. It wouldn't. Most results, most people would suggest that the next 2 games, it will be Atletico and Lazio wins. I think most people can agree with that. So that means if that is the case after 4 games played, because I think people will expect Lazio to beat Feyenoord at home and people will expect Atletico at home to beat Celtic. So if that is the case, after 4 games, we will have Atletico on 8, we'll have Lazio on 7, and we'll have Feyenoord on 6, with Celtic on a single point. And at this stage, I mean, are they really going to win their last 2 games? I don't see it. So for me, it's absolutely pivotal that Celtic get something against Atletico. And at this point, I mean, Celtic are probably hoping that, I don't know, is it better that Feyenoord just beat Lazio again? Possibly. That might be the best case scenario for Celtic, because Feyenoord have already won 2 games, and that is the team that Celtic would be looking to finish ahead of. So, yeah, they're in a tight spot. The results haven't went for them. They really needed Lazio to win the night, in my opinion. And, you know, that would have put them within 2 points of Feyenoord, and they would have known that they've got Feyenoord in the final game. I said at the start of this Champions League group, it was pivotal that Celtic got to the last game within 3 points of Feyenoord, but I did say I didn't think that would be the case. I thought by the time they got to the last game, the home game against Feyenoord, they would already mathematically be out of the Champions League, and I'm going to stand by that, because unless Celtic pull off a big win, either in Spain or in Italy, then yeah, they're not going to be able to do anything on the final day. So that's my opinion. Should have won the night. Have to settle for a draw, but here, points better than nothing. Atletico were pretty poor. I mean, you've got to give Celtic a bit of credit, I guess, for making them look poor, but still, I expected more for Diego Simeone's team, and they just didn't really deliver it tonight. So, yeah, but we'll see what happens, guys, in 2 weeks' time when the Champions League is back. That is it. Catch you in the next one, Being Fog Football. Thanks for watching. Decent point for the coefficient. People say I don't give Celtic any credit. Well, I'm giving them a lot of credit tonight. I think they should have won the game, and I don't think it was a penalty. So, there you go. I think Celtic should have won. Simple as that. Till next time, though. Peace.